Alright, and we're on. Good stuff, good stuff. So, go ahead and wait for it to show up on screen. Okay. Alright, and we're live, pal. Once again, baby. So, it's been a while. So, hey, Andy here. And yes, I am wearing the bootleg Trash Taste shirt. I missed out on their original merch, which was limited edition. So, and they didn't have a gray offering. So, it is what it is. I just got this one. So, let's go ahead and put on some chill hop music. And we'll get rock and rolling here, huh? Oh, Zenbuster. I think Zenbuster put out some new shit, too. New song, nice. But it's only 3 minutes long. We're going to stream just a little bit longer than 3 minutes. So I guess we'll go to the old tried and true. Hopefully it's not too loud, is it? Okay, yeah, that's... hold on. Shit. Forgot I updated OBS, so I had to go in and like redo all the shit. So, okay. Yeah, this one's a little bit louder, so we'll turn it down just a little bit. And we'll just move the headphones over. So that way the mic doesn't pick them up as much. So anyway, how are you guys doing? It's definitely been a while, as the stream says. And, yeah, just... Let me check Discord here. Still playing, right? Stop. No, still playing. Okay. I guess it was just at a quiet part, so I was just wondering what's going on. Sorry, I was just catching... It still has the old... Jeez. I don't know why it does that. So, sorry for those who are thinking that I'm editing a new Q&A in Japandy episode. I'm not. Today. Yeah, in Discord it says that I am, even though I already changed the title. But whatever. Shogunai and such. So, what we are doing today... And today's going to be a really short stream because I still have some homework to do. And I want to spend too long on here, but we're just gonna make some coffee, we're gonna chill out and stuff like that. So since Jesus, it's been a while since I streamed, so I think it's been like what, 3 weeks, almost a month. Shit, dude. But you know, I've just been busy making, you know, other types of content, like pre-recorded stuff. Been unboxing a lot of stuff, putting that up on the YouTubes. And working on the Q&A in Japandy series, which I gotta record a new episode for. Because now we have enough questions to where I don't have to pull from the stockpile. So we'll just be doing that. But we gotta do that later. So, but yeah. Anyway, since that time, I've switched over from the usual canned and bottled coffee here in Japan to actually like making it with a coffee grinder and everything. I know, super fancy. Oh my gosh, Andy Sand must be making that good cameraman money. Well, you know, the cameraman always eats and the cameraman always drinks. Not always coffee, but in this case coffee. So yeah, this is just a little tiny French press. It's like 350 milliliters. It's good for like a single cup of coffee basically. So I just got this for myself. It was like 22 bucks off the Amazon JP. And then this, plus my old bag of beans, premium beans, cost altogether about 20, well actually it was about 30 because I got it expedite shipping. So about 30 bucks altogether for a bag of beans and a grinder. So not too bad. And this is Caravan specialty coffee. It's like a really super dark roast. Because the funny thing is, like, in searching for coffee here in Japan, most of the roasts are like medium to light if you want to make it yourself. So it took me a while to find a good dark roast out here in Japan, and this one's pretty good. I'm going to be trying out their other darker roasts as well, just to give more of an idea of the type of stuff they do. But yeah, this brand, it's called Caravan. It says up at the top in katakana, it's reverse, so Caravan Kohi. Caravan Coffee. Yeah, they do ground coffee as well, but like I said, they only do the dark roasts in bean form. So I figured, what the heck, right? And also another coffee brand that I want to get more of is Lavazza. I used to get that stuff all the time in America, but the type they sell out here is like the medium roast, 5 out of 10 sort of stuff, and I'm like, what happened to you guys, man? Used to have like the most intense fucking coffee I've ever had in my life. It was like a fucking ride. Anyway, let's start making this coffee, huh? So you can see what we're working with here. Yeah, I know. Sad times. But anyway, so you got this little coffee grinder here. It's pretty simple. You just put your beans up top. You pop out here. And that's where the grounds are going to be. So for French press coffee, you have it. I have it at a very coarse grind. You can make further adjustments inside, but since I'm just going to be using French press, I'll just keep it at coarse. But you can make it like a finer powder if you so choose. So it took me a while to kind of dial in like how much beans to use for grounds. Let's see, a little more than that. Because I remember the first time I tried it, I was a little too eager. Put too many beans in there. Like I literally filled the whole thing up. That's like way too much. So we'll put in, yeah, about a third or so. Not quite halfway, just a little under. And that'll be enough for 1 cup, and then add a little extra for the second one. So I just put that shit on top. Put the little crank on there, which you can store in this little thing right there. So like once you're all done, you just like, you know, stick it in. Bam, there you go. But I'll just pull this bad boy out, slap her on top, and we on that coffee grind, everybody. Woo! I'll take it off the table because it's probably really freaking loud. Sorry. But yeah, wake up to that nice grind, and you don't have to go super fast either. You know, usually around this speed's pretty good. Actually, before we get too crazy, I just remembered something. Got the old ADD brain, so I gotta fill this real quick, because that usually takes a minute to heat up. So I figure while we're grinding, we'll just have this heating up in the background. So oops, I think I want to. Okay, that should be good. We want just a little over half a liter. 500 milliliters. For those of you keeping track at home, yo, Andy DeVirgo, what's up? So yeah, I just filled up my little electric tea kettle. I mostly use this for tea, but now I use it for coffee. So I fill it up just a little past half a liter. Stick it in. Turn it on, and we'll get back to that grind. So, it's going pretty good, dude. Just grinding up some of that fresh coffee. Waking up this morning. After stream, we're going to be finishing up some homework and then heading to class. But I figured I'd come on just for a little bit, just to chat with y'all. because it has been a while. Well, since I've done any of these live streams. Yeah, just grinding up some coffee. You can see like where is it? You see like a little bit of it in there. So, yep. Now we're going to be pouring it into this little mini French press that I got off Amazon JP. So, yeah, I really miss making my own coffee, man. I used to do it when I was back in old Mercagen land, but when I got here to Japan, I was like, oh my god, vending machines have hot coffee and I can get it whenever I want. And it was good for a while, but then like you start adding up the costs, because it was like what, 210, 220 yen, so about $2 a day. It doesn't sound like much, but that's like, you know what, $63 a month that you could put towards other things. You know, just get a big old bag of beans and get like really good coffee. Like even if you get like the really expensive stuff. Oh, sorry. Hopefully the grinding's not too loud. But regardless, we're done with that. But yeah, school's going pretty good, my guy. I released a video on my Andy Japandy channel going over midterm grades. Oh dang, this looks to be like a lot of grounds. But we're not going to use it all at once. We're going to split it between the 2 cups. But yeah, spending $5 a day and $100 a month. Yeah, coffee can get really expensive, especially if you get the good shit. But even if you get the not so good shit, it adds up. You know, it's like I could be spending about half of what I spend for like significantly better coffee. Yeah, because like this old bag of beans, about 200 grams. This is about 1,100, 1,200 yen, so about 10, 11 bucks. That's about normal back in America, unless you get like the super cheap stuff. But for like the higher end stuff, by Walmart standards, we're not talking like going to a boutique coffee shop or whatever. Yeah, about 10, 11 bucks, about what I'd spend normally. And depending on how much coffee I need, that could last me like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Just a bag. And since I already bought the French press, which doesn't require any filters because it already has one built in, so I don't have to buy any of that stuff. My only real expenses on coffee now that I've already bought all the equipment would be the beans and the water, because another element that gets sorely overlooked when making coffee is the water. And most people will be like, well, Andy San, you can just use the tap water. And yeah, you could, like an idiot. But it's going to taste like shit because it's hard water. And you don't really notice it if you're just drinking it from the tap. But in coffee, like I really notice it. It makes it like a little too bitter, and a lot of the flavors are kind of fucked up. So one thing I like to do is, and I get this normally anyway because, you know, I like to drink a lot of water. So, you know, this isn't just strictly tied to coffee. It just, you know, happens to go very well with it. But I usually get the more alkaline water, which you can find in Japan. They sell it at this chain called My Basket. It's actually labeled as alkaline water. So it's about 8 to 8.5 on the pH scale. This stuff at 7-Eleven, though, in a pinch, if you can't get to a My Basket or if they don't have them, just go to 7-Eleven, get the brand name 7-Eleven water. This is at, it says on the side, I think. Yeah, it says right there on the side, 8.1 pH, right there. Yeah, sorry for the jank focus. So, yeah, if you can't get specialty alkaline water, that'll do you in a pinch. That's the most alkaline, like, regular water that I've found out here in Japan. So anyway, that definitely helps smooth out a lot of the dark roasts, especially. Just helps make the flavors a little more balanced. So you don't get any of those weird coffee tastes. And also kind of cuts back on a lot of the acidity of dark roasts. Because I love the acidic bite, but my stomach, gets a little choto with that sometimes. So anyway, now that we got this all emptied, just gonna pull this guy off, give it a little tap tap, and we're not gonna put the whole thing in there. Probably about half. maybe 3/4. Where are we at here? Let's see. Yeah, it's hard to balance it all out. Just gotta eyeball it, basically. Just keep going. Because I like that first cup to be strong, and I just use this as kind of an additional sort of, you know, a little shot of flavor. For the dark roast, they have a little bit left in them after the first brew, but not a whole lot. So, all right, so we'll leave about, where are we at here? About that much. Where's the light? Damn it. It's all shiny. Yeah, about that much, if you can see it. Sorry. So yeah, about half. And the grind is very, oh, okay, so you can see that. The grind is very coarse, as you can see. It's very, very coarsely ground. And I've heard that that's the best for French coffee, French press coffee. So I put that in a little container here. We got our hot water. And I had to look up like a lot of tutorial videos on how to do this for French press, because I'd never used a French press before. But one method they recommend doing is filling it up about 1/3 of the way, and yeah, here, mixing the grounds. And with freshly ground coffee, you get a little bit of foamy action too, so that's normal. And you do this to help, it's kind of like blooming spices when you're cooking. You know, you cook them in a little bit of oil or something like that before adding them to the dish. So this is basically blooming the grounds, is what I call it. So you just mix it a little bit, make sure it's all nice and incorporated. And then you just leave that for a minute. And then once that's done, then you fill it up with the rest of the water, and then you put the press on top. But yeah, just leave it in there for a minute. Lets the grounds get a little bit extra time to like open up. And plus, you know, mixing them up and everything is pretty good too, so they don't get all stagnant. So give it just a few more seconds, and then we'll pour the rest of the water in. Yeah, man, I've just been really enjoying making a good cup of coffee. It's one of those things where it's like you don't realize you're drinking shit coffee until you have like really good coffee, and then it's like, damn, dude, I've really been drinking this the whole time? Fucking really? Yeah. So, yeah. So I did it mostly just for expense, because like once I got the equipment, that was like the most expensive part. The only thing I have to pay for now is just beans and water, which I was already paying for. So just an extra, like, if I got 2 bags a month, it's what, 2,400 yen? So like $22 a month versus 60 to 65 bucks a month drinking bottled and canned coffee, which isn't nearly as good. So you do the math, everybody. And just pour the rest of the water up there. And you gotta make sure this is like piping ass hot, because it does affect flavor, as I've learned the hard way on that. And also, I don't know if the camera can pick this up. Yeah, I didn't clean this super good. I just rinsed it off, so sorry for the jankness. But yeah, with this, there's a little cut right there. So I usually like to point that away from the spigot when I'm putting it in. So we'll just kind of sachet. That's the little filter action. So you do it a little bit slowly, because you don't want the shit to blow out. And you just lower this down a little bit and try to feel it out. Sometimes you can do it all the way, other times you can't, like now. See, it's coming out of the spigot a little bit, so you just kind of lift it up. It's a little bit of a gentle process, but I feel like Bob Ross making coffee. So no mistakes, just happy little accidents here. So I'll set that aside, and then we'll just set this over here. Move that spoon over, and we'll just keep that there just in case the spigot runneth over. It's a little safety measure. Then later we'll pour record out and stuff. Yeah, alright. So we're going to give that a good 5 or so minutes. And then we'll pour it out. So in the meantime, let's talk about... Let's see who we all got. Okay, not too many people. Understandable. Yeah, let's just talk about where I've been and where I've gone. So this past weekend, got back from a trip out to Shimoda in Shizuoka Prefecture, right next to Kanagawa. It's the same prefecture that Mount Fuji is a part of, so that area. We went out to Shimoda, which is at the tip of the Izu Peninsula, down south in Shizuoka. Went out there for a filming event for this yoga studio that I'm now taking classes at. I'm gonna have my first official class this weekend, so I'm really looking forward to it. So it's Bikram hot yoga, and it's 90 minutes in a hot room. You do the 26 poses, and just sweat your ass off and have a good time. And originally I was kind of apprehensive to it because as you can tell, like, exercise and me don't really get along too well. We have a tolerable relationship sometimes, but it's tenuous at best. And yeah, but I went and did some filming for them before in the studio, and the studio was so hot that the cameras ended up overheating all the time. So I wasn't able to record like the entire full 90-minute session uncut. So what I did was I cut together the different poses and everything, because like basically we had a couple cameras set up. Like one was kind of a wide shot of like the whole studio and everything, and then I would just kind of go in and like get close-ups of some of the poses and stuff like that. But the camera ended up dying pretty early on because of the heat, and when I was just moving around, even my camera would die. So I just stuck it next to the window to cool down and then went back. But point being is we didn't have like the full 90-minute session, so we decided to go down to Shimoda for the weekend and film it right on the beach. So it was a really lovely shoot. We also shot some pictures as well. We didn't really intend to shoot a whole lot of pictures. It was just meant to be just like a quick little thing, but it ended up turning into like an hour, almost 2 hours worth of just shooting pictures by all the sea stacks and just the beach, doing yoga poses, and there's like a little cave sort of thing, and it's just a lot of good stuff. So really proud of how that shoot went. We had like a shit ton of cameras for that one. I'm still editing the beach one, but the one in the studio, what we did was we basically just interviewed everybody that was there, and then I put together like the B-roll of the different yoga poses while they were being interviewed, so that way it kind of broke up the flow a little bit, so it wasn't all just straight interview the whole time. And I think that video really came together pretty well. But then it's gonna tie in with the full 90-minute yoga workout, so you guys will be able to do it at home, because we looked up the different exercises and stuff, the different Bikram yoga videos that are out there, the full 90-minute workout, and most of them are just like shot on a cell phone, and the quality just isn't really all that good, to be honest. Most of it's just like a locked off camera shot and that's it. There's no like real close-ups of the poses or any of that other stuff, which for me as a beginner I definitely like to see, because they usually just do it from the front, so like you don't really know what's going on the side of how they're doing things, or where they're placing their feet, or any of that stuff really. So it's kind of hard for me to like figure out what's going on, So with this, hopefully it'll help break down a lot of the different poses, and you get a lot of really good close-ups too. So a lot of good stuff in there. Yeah, we had like, let's see, my Sony was the one that was wandering around, the A7C. Then we had Eric's Sony A7S III locked off on a tripod. Then we had 2 GoPros, One was a GoPro 360, which unfortunately wasn't set at 360 mode, so it was just set to like front facing. But then we had the other GoPro face the actual students and everything, so we're gonna kind of toggle between the two GoPros to like see the instructor giving out instructions, and then toggle back to the GoPro for the wider views, and then Sony, and then my Sony kind of wandering around getting close-ups on poses and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a good mixture of things, basically. And I think that's enough time to do this coffee. So I'm glad I bought enough time. So yep, you just gotta push it in a little bit so that way. Oh shit! Ah, damn it! We're live, pal. Fuck me. I know. Hashtag wrecked. But that's what the napkin's for, right, folks? That's what napkins are for. I thought it would force itself enough out to where you could get it, but apparently not. So yeah, just a little pro tip. Just put it in. A little pro tip from the Andy Sand. So yeah. So just pour just a little bit of the excess out, and then that should be, yeah, it's enough to make the top nice and flush. And then you just push this down, which gets all the coffee grounds and stuff that were floating around. Kind of push them at the bottom, and then you pour the rest out. And it's really that simple. Now, if I were doing this as like a, in like a coffee shop or something, they would use something called a decanter, which is mostly used for wine, to sort of aerate and get out a lot of the excess grounds, like you guys saw. I'm pretty sure you saw a lot of the big chunky boy grounds kind of floating in there. Most of that was from the spoon from earlier. Yeah, but sometimes they sneak out. You just gotta be careful. And I don't think I can get that fancy with coffee just yet. Yeah, sorry for the mic blowing out there. Try not to ding it. But anyway, there you go. So, alright. Shove the camera up. And cheers, everybody. Ooh, it's hot. Ooh, it's hot. But yeah, really good cup of coffee. Just really fucking hot. And that's how I wake up every morning, folks. It's a nice, good, hot cup of coffee. Still got shit everywhere, though. Thankfully, I drink black, so this isn't going to get all sticky or nothing, which is good. But yeah, I just been busy working on stuff for the yoga studio, for Eric Surf 6, who's the one who helped put that together. So he's going to be in the video as well. And we did, yeah, Shimoda was last weekend, not this past one. This past weekend I went out to Cinnabon, and we had a whole bunch of cinnamon rolls and everything. So we shot a video out there as well. So that's going to be coming out pretty soon. So just a lot of good projects on the horizon. It's always good to keep busy, for sure. And this is definitely the month to do it. Summer months are always the best to get out there and do stuff, So that's basically why I haven't been streaming a whole heck of a lot, Busy either making stuff for other people or making recorded videos for my other channels. So that's actually been feeling really good to finally really put my new camera to use on my own stuff as well. So really loving how that footage is turning out. It's one of those things, man, like, the last time I used a Sony camera was my A5100, and that was about right when I moved to North Carolina. So like 2018, so 18, 19, 20, it's about 3 years, 2-3 years ago. It was the last time I used a Sony cam. And even then it wasn't really all that often. I think it was just like the first couple episodes of then Andy Before Japandy, which later turned into Andy Talks Japandy. It was just the first couple episodes, because the problem with that camera was it would overheat, and you know, it's just terrible as far as that goes. But it took amazing pictures, and I didn't really use video on it a whole lot because of the overheating issue. I tried to mitigate it as much as I could. I got as many videos out of it as I could, but it was mostly for pictures. But this A7C, they've significantly improved upon the cooling. Like, I've had no issues with it overheating. There's times it would get a little warm, get a little toasty, and I was wondering, like, is this camera gonna make it? Like, even when we were out there on the beach, which wasn't too hot, but it's still, you know, pretty moderately warm. And I figured, you know, one of the cameras was gonna overheat. None of them did. One of the GoPro's batteries did run out, though, but that was about it, really. You know, everybody else, you know, hung in there till the end, so, you know, we were able to get the full session. And my camera, it didn't even flash the little heat warning thing, because they have like different heat tolerances set up on the camera now. So you can have like the normal, then there's also high mode, and I just have mine set on high and no issues. So have you heard anything about Sony releasing A7 IV September? That's the rumor going around. I've been following that on Alpha Rumors. What's that one called? F-Stoppers, stuff like that. Yeah, that would definitely be the ideal time to do it, just right before Christmas, during Q3. So that way everybody can get it in time for Christmas. So if they're gonna do it, now's a good time to do it. And they already have an A7R4 out, so why not just a regular A7 IV? Hey, Jesus, what's up? Good stuff. But yeah, the reason I chose the A7C over like an A7 III, or even just waiting for an A7 IV, was just that for me, I'd use it mostly for videography versus photography. So a lot of the function buttons and everything like that would be good for photographers. While they'd be good for videographers as well, it wasn't that big of a deal breaker for me. You know, same with the viewfinder. I guess the viewfinder's pretty shit when it comes to photography. I never use it, so that's another reason. Yeah, dude, it's good to see you too. We out here just chilling, drinking some coffee. I made it myself. On stream too. So it's good stuff. Yeah, the A7C, you know, just a smaller, tighter package of the yeah, definitely. And it's also just a good way for me to get into the full frame side of the house, which is something I've been wanting to do for years. But you know, just the cost of entry was just way too high, and you know, the lenses were way too expensive, and stuff was just too bulky. You know, like, and that was one of the things that Eric brought up at the Cinnabon shoot, was that, you know, for his A7S III, which is for videography a far superior camera to mine, has like way more options and stuff, and it's built for something like that. It's just like, you know, when you have like too professional of a gear, you know, where it's like it's too big and bulky and like people get a little nervous around it. You know, that's kind of what he was thinking about it. So like for mine, which yeah, it had the big friggin' VideoMic Pro Plus on it. I guess you can't see it, huh? It's charging right now. Even though the little bitty camera had like this big ass thing on top. That's about the extent of it, really. So it was, you know, very low profile, very unassuming, but still takes, you know, amazing video and pretty darn good pictures, you know. And even though I got it mostly for videography, you know, just the different pictures and everything I've been taking on has just been astounding to me. And yeah, if you do a little pixel peeping, you can see a lot of the flaws, but that's mostly in the lens more than anything because I just got it with the kit. So I definitely need to get... Lens is going to be the next upgrade for sure. And I'm already thinking about getting the Tamron 2870 or 2875 rather, just because it's the most like all-round lens. I was gonna get the Sony 2470, which is the lens I recommended to Eric, because it has optical steady shot in it as well. But I saw like a kind of like a versus video talking about the different advantages and disadvantages of both. And for me, even though the Tamron doesn't have optical steady shot, you know, just the overall sharpness of the image and the fact that it can go several steps higher than the Sony, you know, definitely makes it the one. So I used to shoot on Canon C11. It's not the biggest, but definitely more to me. Yeah, definitely those cinema cameras. That's I think that's honestly for me the next step if I were to upgrade my gear later on. Definitely looking at that FX3 that Sony put out. It's just like, you know, but that'd be for like the bigger, more intense projects. I'm not busting that thing out at a fucking Cinnabon. You know what I'm saying? That's what I got the A7C for. The C for casual, right? Totally not compact. Although speaking of which, it is nice to have it, because I have like a Sony bag that I originally got for my Panasonic G85, because I was going to get it in a Panasonic bag, but that bag was kind of shit, to be honest. So I just got it in a Sony bag, and it was kind of weird, but it worked. But with the A7C, even with the big-ass mic, like, there's so much room left in the bag. And it's just a tiny-ass little bag, you know? So I'm like, dang, it's a Sony, yo. Nice gear, definitely would help with overheating for all. Oh yeah, definitely. Especially the newer ones. The older ones, not so much. They, you know, they just recently changed the cooling elements. So then again, you pull out a nice cinema camera, better be in good area. Yeah, definitely. Oh, that cinema one, that's got the little built-in fan. So I think short of throwing it into a volcano, I think it'll be okay with heat, you know? Right? So, yeah. And plus, you know, once you get into cinema camera territory, then you gotta upgrade with a bunch of other gear, right? You know, you gotta get like specific lenses and rig and all this, that, and the other. Which, again, I'm not opposed to doing. I just don't have the budget for something like that right now. But it's something I do want to aspire to get at some point, for sure. But as far as the rig that I have now, definitely want to get the Tamron 2875. I also want to get a good prime, too. So I was thinking about getting one of those little compact Sony G Master lenses that they released recently. There's a 24-40 and a 50, both at f2.8. And originally I was going to get one of the Tamron primes because they have they can go like up to 20. And I was thinking like, man, that's going to be really good for vlogging because you're going to get like a whole wide view and it's going to be really good. And it's also good for macro photography because the distance and everything to magnification, I think is like 1 to 2 or something like that, or 2 to 1. I don't know the ratios, but it said it was like really good for it. So I was like, all right, sick. Because I also want to get good product shots too, and especially, you know, if we're doing B-roll of food or whatever, you know, you want to get it nice and tight. You know, get like all the little details of, and that's what I noticed. I really needed a good lens was actually at the Cinnabon shoot because I tried getting close-ups of like the caramel pecan Cinnabon that they had. It would focus on the pecans, but like the rest of it at the bottom would just be all blurred out. So I couldn't get it focused on like the whole Cinnabon. It would just focus on either the pecans or like the bottom part, and the pecans would be all blurred out. And yeah, I could probably make it a bit deeper. But still, I was at like f4, so I wasn't like that shallow, really. f4 is as shallow as I can get with that lens. So I figured it'd be okay, but you know, I can only get like a foot is about as close as I can get before it starts blurring out. So I was like, fuck, man. Dion gives a green or blue hue, then you gotta spend time color correcting. Yeah, it does that. Although I also have like built-in color correction within the camera as well, so like when I bring it into either Photoshop or Premiere or whatever, mostly Photoshop is when I notice it has like kind of a built-in correction system or whatever. So like it even corrects like lens aberration, you know, kind of that weird fisheye sort of look, so it flattens it out a bit more. So that's nice. Does some color correction and things like that. Just like as soon as I pull it into Lightroom, I'm just like, dang, it already looks pretty good, but how can I make it look better? You know? And I'm only shooting 8-bit too. Like it's not like I have like 10 or 14-bit color or whatever, and I just crank everything to the max. But even just like what I do have is pretty freaking insane. So platform, I use the Adobe Creative Suite. So for photography, you know, learning how to edit more in Lightroom. It used to be Photoshop, but with like so many photos and everything I'm putting together, like Lightroom makes way more sense now. Like before, I didn't understand like what the point of Lightroom was. Like I was like, this is just Photoshop, but like with less stuff. Like what's the point? Then I started doing like multiple shoots, and allowed me to like comb through like with that yoga shoot. I had like literally over 2,000 photos, just, you know, doing speed shoots, and it allowed me to just like comb through everything really quickly. Okay, that shot was a little out of focus, delete, that one's out of focus, her smile was a little off there, there's a little bit of blur there, you know. It just allowed me to just like, you know, cut through a whole bunch of pictures I didn't want. So we pared down that shoot from over 2,000 to about 147, I think is what it came out to. And, you know, I kept in a couple like technically incorrect shots where like some of the people were a little blurred out because they were like moving, but I thought it kind of captured like a good story, you know, like especially if like set it for a pose or like whatever, and they were like falling, or you see like somebody swoop in to like try to catch them, so they're all blurred out, but they're like, ah, you know. I just thought it was funny. And then you know, a couple good candid shots too I think are really good. You know, just, I think those are my favorites, were the candid shots. You know, just them just having a good time, hanging out on the beach, laughing, whatever, you know. And I think for families too, those are the really important shots. You know, not just the ones where they're all like, ooh, kawaii. You know, that's the Insta buy. That's what they call it. You know, but stuff you share with the family, you know, it's the nice wholesomeness. But yeah, I definitely want to go on more shoots like that for sure. Yeah, definitely more like real life, and especially with Japanese folks who are very unwilling to kind of reveal that side to themselves. You know, they usually, you know, they're usually like either put on the kawaii face, or you know, it's very like the whole time. You know, so to be able to like sneak it in every once in a while. It also helps that they're from Osaka too, so you know, the Kansai women are a lot more open about stuff like that, and they were just a fucking hoot, man. Like I got to hear a whole bunch of like Kansai Ben and stuff like that, so it was really cool. And come to think of it, I actually wouldn't mind visiting Osaka. I have a lot of friends out there, and they tell me all the time, Andy, you gotta come out to Osaka and visit, man. It's gonna be a fucking blast. You're gonna love Osaka. It's gonna be awesome. And they're like, man, I'd love to, but I'm just so busy with work. if only I had a gig over there. You know? So, I think the stars are starting to align with stuff like that, for sure. And, yeah, I was just thinking about it, man. You know, like, a lot of these gigs and opportunities, you know, these doors wouldn't have been open for me if it wasn't for other people opening them for me. And, you know, I definitely got to thank Eric so much for opening those doors for me. Because I know how it is with the social media landscape, and that it's very, very numbers based, and oh, you only have like 1,800 subscribers, and you've been doing YouTube for how long? Oh my god, what a fucking loser. Like, Jesus. You know, clean off the Cheeto dust off and chicken tendy crust from your mommy's basement, you know, right? They don't focus on the people behind the numbers. They just focus on the numbers. But, you know, I'm glad to have met people like Eric who recognize people behind the numbers instead of just, oh, he's got a lot of subs, so, you know, let's talk with him. You know, he has a good eye for spotting good people. And I'm just really thankful for him for giving me the opportunity, man. But, you know, it's also on the other side of the coin, it's like, yeah, he could give me all the opportunities in the world, but like, if I don't have the skills to back it up, then it's just like, oh, my friend, he has a camera, he shoots sometimes, you know. So having the skills and ultimately just being a good person, you know. So do I have a website for my video work and official business name? It's being worked on right now. But I do have a website lined up for showcasing my official work. I just got to get it all tuned up and everything. And then once it's all tuned up and I throw my profile and everything on there, then I definitely expect to get like a lot more work, because it's a really good website name. And I really want to make sure I do it right, because I know just how important having a good website, a good reel is for attracting clients, you know. But thankfully, all the clients that I've gotten has been through word of mouth referrals, and are also recurring clients as well. That's been primarily, in fact, that's been like my entire clientele base, was referrals and recurring. So it's a pretty good problem to have, I do gotta say, if I say so myself. You know, I don't have to go hunting for clients too often. It's usually other clients bring me clients, like with the yoga shoot, like with Eric. You know, like I did work for Eric, and you know, he had some friends at a yoga studio who are looking to showcase what they do and everything, and he wanted to show what a Bikram yoga session was like, and he saw the other videos that are online, and they're just really not all that good, and he's like, well, maybe Andy could make something like this really good. And I'm like, I'd never done yoga before. I didn't really know. Like, I watched the Bikram yoga documentary like a long time ago, but as far as the actual like poses and what goes into the program itself, I didn't really know. But I was really open to the idea because I saw the opportunity in it. So I'm just like, fuck it, you know, let's go for it. And even though the first video didn't turn out to be what we'd expected, because the camera kept on overheating, so we couldn't get the full session in, you know, with the beach shoot we were able to make up for that. And with the recovered shoot, like, we were able to establish who the people were, who the students were, get them like doing the poses and everything like that. And so that way, when you see the beach shoot, there's a couple people missing, but most of them are there. So that way you already know like who the people are and why they do Bikram yoga and stuff like that. So it kind of establishes character and everything. So when you watch them on the beach doing their thing, like, hey, Anina Sensei, I know you. I saw you in the video. You know? So. Sorry about that. Just to make sure the grounds are all mixed up. But yeah, man. you know, doing work for Eric, him referring me to other people, and you know, also putting together just like, because with editing, you know, everybody always says, oh, you got to put together a good demo reel, dude. And I'm like, I don't really know what to do as far as reels for editing goes, because like, it's different. Because if I was like a director of photography, or you know, if I did visual effects work or something like that, that'd be easy. You just overlay like the before and after footage, and bam, do that for like 90 to 120 seconds, and you're good. But for editing work, it's like, you know, if I manage to cut together a good reel, it just shows that I can cut together reels. It doesn't really show how I work as an editor. You know, I would just basically show on my videos, and they're like, that's not a reel, that's a video. I'm like, yeah, you know. So I just put it off for like the longest time. But I basically just put together a few short examples of my work. So if people are looking for different types of things, even though primarily my niche is primarily food-based, just based on who my clientele are, it's not really something that I angled for initially. It just kind of was what it was, and ended up really liking it. So, and Japan has no shortage of food out here, not just Japanese food, but international food as well. So I've tried all kinds of different dishes out here, and yeah, there's definitely a mass market for something like that out here, not just for the local businesses, but also for foreigners who are interested in what to expect when Japan reopens its borders again and tourism is allowed to come back in, which hopefully, fingers crossed, will be soon, because of restrictions and everything starting to lessen. Well, Kinkyujitai is no more for now. You know, they put that to an end on the 20th, which was Sunday? Sunday, yeah. So Sunday was the last day. So we're officially off of Kinkyujitai. No more of that shenaniganry for now. But, yeah. But I don't want to make this whole stream talking about that, because, you know, if YouTube-sama listens, then they'll restrict my stream. So that's why I got to speak in code about those sorts of things. Like, some people think I'm just being facetious about it, and part of it's that too, because that's kind of how my humor works. But also it's to avoid getting smited by YouTube-sama. So it is what it is. But yeah, good things are on the horizon. Things are looking up. And if it wasn't for old Colonial Macaroni, then a lot of these opportunities wouldn't have been practical for me. You know, like the whole working from home and stuff like that. You know, it just wouldn't have been a thing, and I wouldn't have been able to get so many of these little part-time arubaito gigs. You know, just editing stuff from home, you know, or going out and shooting and then coming back and editing it. You know, a lot of that stuff wouldn't have been really possible for me. So, you know, it's just, you know, it does come down to timing. But yeah, I definitely need to make a dedicated video on this, because I'm very passionate about talking about, you know, getting into the creative industry and making a living off of doing stuff in a creative, from, you know, doing stuff creatively for a living, not just as a fun little hobby. Which, if it is a fun little hobby for you guys, then that's all well and good. You know, we all need hobbies to de-stress and to help us think about other things. Like for me, photography is my hobby, because it's a nice little accompaniment to video, and I already have my camera with me anyway, right, when I'm doing video. So like, how can I do something creative without it getting too much in the way of my main gig? And so, you know, just switch it from the video mode to manual mode, and it's just that easy. Right? But yeah, that's how I got into Instagram initially, was just as a little side project in between me making videos. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a lot more on my Edit by Andy channel, because it's definitely something I'm passionate about, and there's just a whole bunch of opportunity for people to legit make a good living off of doing stuff creatively. You know, is it gonna be? Are you gonna be like a millionaire or whatever? Could be, but you know, I can. You know, I definitely have faith that people can at least make a living, or you know, have a very lucrative like side gig. You know, just if anything for just a little bit of beer money for the end of the month or whatever, and that's fine too. It's just you just got to make things right size for you. You know, like with YouTube, that's another big thing because like you know, someone asked me the other day, it's like, you ever see yourself getting to like, you know, 100,000 subs or whatever the case, and you know, why do you even still bother doing YouTube when you're already so successful at, you know, doing the freelance video editing? Like, what if you just like committed to that wholeheartedly? And I'm like, well, for one, I can't because my visa won't allow it. You know, like I'm going to school, so even if I wanted to, and I want to, I couldn't do it. You know, but you know, even if that wasn't like an issue or whatever, like, you know, it's always good to how can I say this? It's basically good to have just like a little bit of separation, you know, like there's stuff where, you know, you do client work and it's mostly guided by them and what they want and stuff like that. It may not be your cup of tea, but it's your job to make it look good and look interesting. And that to me is like what I really love doing, is to find something that may not be all that interesting up front and make it interesting. Like with yoga, like I said before, like when it was first pitched to me to do a yoga shoot, I was like, I gotta sit in a, you know, a little tiny room with a bunch of mirrors, getting all fucking sweaty and shit. You know, I'm just like, I don't know about that one. But I was like, why don't I just make this interesting? Because I saw that like nobody really did like cinematic yoga videos, or if they are, they're like buried deep in the algorithm. You know, it's just basically someone setting up either a GoPro or their iPhone off in the corner somewhere, just hit record and that's the video. You know, there's nobody like getting in there and like looking at the poses and stuff like that. And it also helps that, you know, some of the students look pretty fit, if I do say so myself, so that helps as well. But yeah, as far as me like still doing YouTube, even though I haven't really grown all that much and I don't really make a whole heck of a lot of money from it, it's just as a creative outlet, you know, allows me to try a bunch of new things that I wouldn't be able to do just doing client work. And it also gives me more of a presence online as well, because I know a few really good editors out there who can just edit circles around me and just make me look like a total goof in terms of editing quality and even videography quality, you know, because they have better gear, they know how to use it, all this, that, and the other. But when it comes to their own YouTube stuff, like, it looks good, but it doesn't get a whole heck of a lot of views. So, you know, for me, I kind of understand the it's almost like kind of the story of King Midas in a way, and this sounds like totally egotistical, but it's like I can like help other people's videos do well, but I can't help my own videos do well. And it also helps that my videos are just kind of out there and there's usually not a whole lot of editing to them, because by the time I get to my own stuff, I'm just fucking spent and just want to put something out there rather than, you know, really take the time and make like a really well crafted video for myself rather than for a client. And again, it's that whole opportunity cost thing like I was talking about in an earlier live stream, you know, which is something I think in the future I'll be starting to get over, because, you know, as I do more editing work, I'll be charging more, so I won't have to do as much work. So I'll be able to focus more on my YouTube channel, so it'll be less of an afterthought, and I'll be able to put out more serious productions on my own side of the house, and I'll have the financial overhead to not have to worry about it. You know, and that's kind of the place where I want to get to. You know, it's just do YouTube for fun, right? And just to like prove that you can do it, rather than just, oh man, I got to make a whole lot of money really quick, guys. Oh my god, if I don't get 10,000 subscribers by the end of the month, I'm a fucking loser, and I'm gonna have to move in with my mom and stay in the basement eating chicken tendies and whatever. You know, it's like, it's not like that for me. You know, there was times where, yes, I was jealous about how, you know, my friends got way more subs than me, and, you know, were rapidly growing in subs, and I was staying at basically the same spot the whole time. But, you know, once I kind of saw the light, I guess, when it comes to doing freelance work, it's just like, I can still make videos and get paid significantly more for them for other people versus doing it for myself. And that kind of became my barometer, I guess, was being able to build other people up, you know? And it gives me a lot of joy, like, seeing all the feedback, not just from my clients, you know, who are, you know, really generous and really good people. And that's one of the reasons why I get repeat work, right? It's because, you know, not only do the clients pick me, but I pick the clients too. And that's something else that's forgotten about in freelancing. You know, with a regular 9-to-5, you don't pick your bosses, but with freelancing, you do. And you don't have to always stick around. You can just do your gig and then get out and just kind of ghost yourself out. That one had grounds in it. A little bitter, but such is life, right? Anyway, so there's just a lot that I could talk about freelancing and stuff like that, you know. But a lot of it's pretty common sense stuff, you know. Just do good work, be a good person, and network your ass off. Basically, it's like the 3 main points of being a freelancer, and you'll always get repeat business, you know. But as far as attracting those initial people, it's just like with YouTube, right? It's always like the first 100 subs are always the hardest. You know, the first 100 subs, the first 1,000 subs, those are always the hardest ones to get, because you're not a proven, I don't want to say a commodity, but it's about the closest thing I can say. Is like, you're not a proven draw, a proven commodity yet. You know, you're just some dude with a webcam sitting in a room with a fucking vacuum cleaner in the background. Yeah. To talk about sucking, but it's unplugged. You know? So, you haven't really proven yourself yet. And that's something some people were always telling me, was that, how can you expect all these people to give you money to work on videos if you haven't, like, proven yourself yet? And well, there's lots of ways, you know? Like in the beginning, you could just do things pro bono, you know, do it for free, just to give yourself a little bit of a body of work to show to people that you can do this. Gave you the like on the vid. Oh! Ochide Japan! Arigatou gozaimasu! Thank you, thank you. I've never heard of that channel before. It looks interesting. I'm gonna have to check you. Fuck. I have to check you out later. But hey, thanks for the like, dude. I appreciate it. Or I don't know who you are, but thanks for the like. Appreciate it. What was I talking about? I lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. But yeah, just, you know, being a good person, getting out there, proving that you can do it. Oh yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. So, if you don't have a body of work that you can show people that you can edit videos, there's lots of ways to do that. You know, you can do stuff for free. Just be like, hey, you know, I'm starting out. I just want to do some stuff for my reel. I'm not going to charge you anything. Just, you know, here it is. do stuff like that. If that doesn't work, you could also do another little fun thing, which is get onto a stock video website. There's plenty of them out there. Storyblocks is one of them, stuff like that. And just pull a bunch of stock video files, put them together, and try to create a story based off of stock video footage. Because the thing is, it's just going to be for your reel, right? It's just to show people that you can do what you can do. So you can do stuff like that. You could also, if you have camera equipment and you're also going to be shooting it, then you could just shoot like a little short story. Again, with videography, it's all about making uninteresting things interesting, right? So you could do, I guess, like the typical YouTuber, coffee montage type shit, right? You can get like the slow motion of you like pouring the water into the kettle, and you get like the little pouring and shit, and you like grinding up the beans and just putting the grounds into the French press, if you're so inclined, just a little. Then like the stirring, you can see like the grounds like kind of mixing together with the water, and you get all that kind of foamy action going on. Then you like pouring the rest of the water in there, you see like the steam kind of rise up because it's really hot. Then you put the press in there, and then once it's done, push it down, and then you get another top down of the coffee being poured into the cup, and you drinking it, just that's it. That's the whole video. And you can do that whole thing in 90 seconds. Guaranteed. I mean, I basically just did it in real time, but you can just like cut up all that stuff, just something really basic, just to show that you can create a good, interesting story. It doesn't have to be super epic, full of like, visual effects or none of this other fancy shit. Just, can you make a good, interesting story? And it's good to do like kind of mundane stuff because stuff that they can relate to. So you can even do one of like you taking your dog for a walk. Like your dog would be like wandering around, get like a really low angle of like a dog walking around, or like the dog just kind of like laying down, just kind of looking a little like I want to go outside. And then it kind of looking at the door. And then you just kind of sitting there either on your phone or watching TV or whatever. And then you notice the dog's kind of looking at the door. Another shot of the door. And then you like getting the leash, so it'd be like a top down, like if it's in like a drawer or something like that, you like pull the drawer out, grab the leash, pull it out, and then like a over the shoulder shot of you like walking towards the door, and the dog's getting all excited. Oh my god, we're gonna go outside! We're gonna go outside! Oh my god! And then get like a lower shot of you like kneeling down to like clip the leash on the dog, and then you standing back up, with the leash in hand. Get a little POV shot of you like opening the door, so you get like the typical like Casey Neistat like handle grabbing the door, opening the door shot. And then if you want to get one like of you like outside, the kind of sky shot, just like outside. And then you kind of walking around, just doing whatever, and then you look down at the dog, and you get a little close up of the dog, like, oh my god, I'm so happy, we're walking around, we're doing stuff outside. And if you really want to get fancy with it, you can take them like the dog park or something like that. You can get like nice little POV shots, like little, not POV, but like slow motion shots of the dog chasing the ball or chasing a frisbee or just running around, just being a goofball. Or you can even like GoPro even makes like straps for dogs, so you can like put a GoPro on the back of the dog and like, all right, fetch, and then it cuts to the shot of them like chasing the ball, and you get like a true POV shot of them like getting the ball and stuff. And then it cuts back to you, like, seeing the dog, like, catch the ball, and it runs back to you, like, good boy. And that's the video. And it's really that simple, folks. It's all about making uninteresting stuff interesting. So, anyway, I could talk for hours about this, and I've talked for about an hour and a half at this point. Well, no, not an hour and a half, but, like, a little over an hour. So, I got to get going here. Got to do my shukudai, my homework. But I just want to come on here and let y'all know that, once again, your boy's not dead. Just busy on that grind, And a shout out to Ochide Japan. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Getting back on that YouTube grind again, so good stuff. Love to hear it, and I'll definitely be checking out your channel, seeing what's good, what's Gucci. So, with all that said, guys, this is Andy. No more of the Andy song, but this is Andy. Sign up for now. As always, forever. We'll see you next time. Catch you later, guys. Bye.